Western Province-born Rudy Paige's devotion to rugby has taken him from SA School's captain to Blue Bull and Springbok scrum half. Now, he's decided to test new waters as co-host of a podcast on his favourite game, and at the most thrilling time in the history of SA Rugby.
Hello guys, I'm Rudy Paige. I am ex-Springbok scrum half, currently retired from playing the game of rugby. I am the co-host and co-founder of Behind the Ruck show, and it is an exciting time in my life. The idea of Behind the Ruck probably originated from the golf course. My co-host and co-founder, that I am beating him a lot on the golf course. So that is where it started. The two of us, we played against each other since 2007. The first time I've had this idea of a podcast and a rugby show, there was only one person that for me stood out, right? And because our banter and our personalities, and sometimes we argue on the course, and I was like, why don't we take what we're doing now and put it into a show that people can see who we are as human beings and who we are as persons.
Yeah, I've got a good relationship with Rudy. We've been friends for a very long time. We played against each other when we were like kids at 17, 18 years old. And then we started getting to know each other much better at the Springboks in 2016. And yeah, been roommates. Funny little character, but yeah, I enjoy it when he's around. So we're similar in personalities. It's just a joy to be around here. We're taking it episode by episode, enjoying ourselves, see what the people like, sharing knowledge. Hopefully we can share some knowledge to people that don't understand rugby, or people that want to get to know us, because we also got a story coming from, Heidelberg and myself from Wellington. It's stories that hopefully can inspire people.
Rudy secured his family's future in the Cape by playing for top clubs like Clermont-Auvergne in France. Now, he's back home to enjoy life.
I was born in a small town called Heidelberg, down the Garden Route. Grew up in a mad, loving, rugby, fanatical family. From waking up 4 o'clock in the morning to watch Super Rugby games, to going to Saturdays to watch club rugby with my family. My father at the time, when I was really small, played. I was the ball boy for the club, which for me was the best of times in my life. And that's where the love for rugby came from. Running onto the field for the first time, I remember actually, because I was on the bench for the Springbok game when I made my debut, and I was so nervous that I struggled to get out of my tracksuit. So I always laugh about it to say, yes, the tracksuit almost stood in my way of going onto the field in a way. But the moment that I went on was the realization of a childhood dream, probably an impossible childhood dream from where I came from and the humble beginnings I had in life. And then it was a reality. After the game, the realization of achieving that dream, well, I must say it was quite something for me and my family at the time, and something we will cherish for the rest of my life. Not a lot of people, I show this to a lot of people. I hide this as far as possible, especially even for my kiddies. So I want to start with this one at the top, which is my Outeniqua under 14 jersey. So this is the first time I actually went to high school at Outeniqua in George, my under 14 team jersey, which is one of my oldest jerseys I have as a collection. So this team is Clermont-Auvergne, a prestigious club in France. It's a town where they're rugby mad, and me and my family also had phenomenal time there. I was a Blue Bull supporter growing up. I'm still a Blue Bull supporter. I know hopefully the Cape Townians don't hear that. I was just really fortunate that I ended up playing for the team that I grew up supporting, and things really worked out. The stars aligned for me, and I got to play for the team that I love. But this was my SA Schools jersey. Very, very fortunate and proud that I could be the captain of that team. My parents could actually watch. My family was there for the game. So this is a team that is also close to my heart. It's the Sunwolves, Japanese team, Super Rugby team. Fantastic people, the culture was awesome. And then the last jersey I wanted to show you is the red one. No one else has this special edition jersey. I can actually fondly say that it's only the 23 that played that day in Salta against Argentina that has this one. And that one over there is the special one. That is my debut game for the Springboks. that the whole team signed. Legends Brian Nabena, Fourie du Preez, Skalk Burger, John de Villiers, Andre Pollards of the world. So that one there is absolutely special. That is my debut jersey for the Springboks.
It was in Joburg that the young varsity scrum half crossed paths with architecture student Nelly Kolkata. Pals at first, they were destined to become Mr. and Mrs.
Rudy and I met when we were in university. We were both studying at UJ. We've been together for around about 10 years now, so it's about 5 years before that. So we've known each other for a very, very long time. We were friends before we started dating, so that's when we met. What drew me to Rudy was definitely his funny play. Besides his looks, it's the latter part of him, the fact that he manages to keep strong in very difficult times, and he's also very ambitious, and then obviously being a great father.
I think the best part about being a dad is the smile you get in the morning. When you pick them up from school, it's when you get to see every little small thing that they grow. That to me is actually quite cool. I must say, I never thought I would think that is what's going to give me joy in life. But at the moment, that is probably the best parts of my day as well, is getting to see the joy in my kids' life.
And I think it's just the fun demeanor in the house. It's added noise.
It's a lot of noise, good noise.
I'm beyond proud of my dad. Like, sometimes I look through his jersey, I'm like, my dad played for my country, and it's like crazy. It's an amazing journey just to go to these places with him, watch him play. He really is a role model to me. He inspires me because he never gave up for South Africa, never gave up for any of his teams. He always put the work in to get to where he wanted to be. He always sets goals for himself. He is my role model, and sometimes whenever I want to do something in my life, I always just think, what did my dad do?
Family time originally in a rugby family, it's very difficult because of the traveling, but we've managed to prioritize it and making sure that when we do have those off days that we spend the time together, because it was such a difficult sacrifice during the time he was playing rugby, and I think now we got a little bit too much of it, I would call it, but I definitely think it's very important and how we've managed it.
What is next is probably the biggest question I'm currently struggling with. The podcast is number one. I would love to work, whether it's a coaching job, whether I pursue a career in refereeing, which a lot of people have laughed at me. But it is something I really want to see what it's like, the refereeing world. I think it's something that rugby needs, a lot of ex-rugby players that pick up the whistle and get involved in rugby in that way. And I really hope our podcast continue on the growth and the path that we currently are going at, because I think we've got big dreams, big ambitions, and the type of show that we want to create is a show that I think people will really enjoy. So I think that's probably the two things that I can see myself doing in the near future, and hopefully I'll be successful at it. That's I'm holding thumbs, but that's the dream and the goal.
With his family and country's passion for the game at fever pitch, Rudy could not have timed his switch to refereeing or podcasting any better.